Greetings, Sir and Sirettes, and welcome back to Stellaris with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome to the first playthrough with the newest patch 2.3 and the newest DLC, Ancient Relics. So hopefully the game should now run better, there's been a lot of balance changes, and we have a brand new portrait, and then we have the DLC itself, which is a story DLC, which means there are loads more events, there's a whole relic system, there's a lot of stuff for us to explore. So, let's begin the new Let's Play. As you can see, currently our new empire is blank. If you want to skip ahead and go straight into the action, there will be a link, a timestamp, in the comment section and in the description. So now, let's build our empire, which I think is going to be a mostly good guy empire, because we've been rather evil recently. So to begin with, we are going to go into civics, and we're going to go with syncretic evolution. A second species forms an integral part of the society. They are big, strong, and most of them have the intelligence of a particularly dim-witted child. Ancient wars have culled their species of their most aggressive tendencies, leaving them quite servile. Now here's the thing, that's not very friendly, and so I'm changing the lore about that. Rather than having the original species here be a servile species which was conquered via war, instead it was the original species, the first species to gain sapience on this planet. But then over time they evolved either through genetic manipulation or perhaps a chance hybridization with an insect into this second species here, because in my opinion this looks really insectoid and a far throw from what the original species is going to be, the Groot model. Yeah, there is quite a bit of difference there. So I'm thinking purposeful genetic modification on the part of the originals made a small population of this secondary species which became far more intelligent, far more evolved, and thus became the more dominant, but in a very friendly way. There was no hard feelings here. They are two species which make up the Empire as equals. It's just that this is more focused around intelligence and this far more brute force. Now you may be asking, how did the brute force Empire even get the tech to do this? Again, it could have been an accidental discovery because these did exist for quite some time. Maybe it just took them a lot longer to get to that level than a normal empire would have. Either way, I love that concept, this being a sort of parent species and this being an offshoot of it, with both of them staying around. Perhaps it wasn't even genetic modification, it was just a chance divergence. Either way, that is how we're going to be playing this. So no wars, no hard feelings, only love and trees. Now, here is where I'm not sure where I want to go with this. We could either go democratic, or we could go with oligarchic. Either way, I think it fits. But I think democratic works a little bit more because, again, wanting to treat everyone like equals and having a great respect for the parent species. But this makes more sense if this species is really taking control. This is taking control of all of the big picture stuff of running the empire. It seems to make more sense to me that a smaller pocket of the population has more control. Still not going down the route of any further, like dictatorial or imperial, but no, I think we're going to go democratic. Let's be the good guys here. Just a random thing. Fanatic Pacifist, plus 10 stability. Police State, plus 5 stability. Wow. That's a lot of stability. Though I think there's an option similar to that in Fanatic Egalitarian, which gives you stability as well. I just can't remember exactly which one it is. Shed burdens? Yep, shed burdens. Just trying to think how I want to set up our ethics. This is something I've not really used before, having Xenophile, Egalitarian, and Materialist. But what we could do instead is have this. Xenophile, Pacifist, Egalitarian. I mean, that's a pretty good guy setup right there. We like others, we don't want to go to war, and everyone is treated equal, at least to a certain degree. Certainly makes sense to me with how I'm trying to set this up. Also, how his head sort of wiggles is starting to disturb me a little bit. Sort of morphs there. Creepy. Sure, the Brute Groot. No idea what I'm going to call the original species, though. Where is the plantoid? That'll work. Same with you. So So I've decided on two things. First of all, our planet is going to be called Divergence, and secondly, our species did indeed just split from the original, rather than having it have some kind of interference, either through genetic modification or from a divine entity. It just happened, and so that's why they're both there. And of course, once again, no wars or anything like that, more of a peaceful coexistence, with this species being far younger than the original. So, with the original species, what we're going to go with, I'm thinking, for this species, we're going to have, where are you? How am I not finding this? I always use it. There we are, sedentary. But on this species, the younger species, we're going to be the opposite. So we are going to be, why can I never find it? There we are, nomadic. So quite a difference of opinion, at least there. This species wants to extend its reach and go to other planets, whereas the other species is more than happy to just set down roots there. Set down root. Okay, that was not intentional as a joke. Well, apparently it wasn't an intended joke, but it was a joke nonetheless. So, with the dominant younger species, they are nomadic, charismatic, and enduring, because of course they are still half tree, or at least half tree, but they are weak, at least in comparison to the older species, and they are deviant, being a young species still prone to change. Despite the fact overall the Empire is going with one clear goal in mind, they still change their mind a lot. They're young, after all. They're rebellious. Slightly as rebellious as trees can be. It's a bit more difficult to pick the traits for the secondary species because you only have 4 choices, whereas the regular species you have 5, with this one it already has servile. So, I've just went ahead and I've added agrarian and communal. So, they are fine living together, they are very happy to form great forests, but they don't want to move and they are very slow to learn. And of course, they're forests, they're pretty good at generating food, I imagine. Though I am tempted by energy or minerals, no, I think this makes more sense. So I haven't really gone for the best choices just to make a really good empire, but I think this fits a little bit better. Plus, since we are going down the route of genetic modification, these things are going to be changed fairly quickly. I was looking at the auto names, and I kind of love this because the name kind of contradicts itself a little bit, and I really like that. The union of divergence. The idea of 2 separate paths both coming back together to make a greater entity. And of course, we even have the yin-yang symbol going on with our flag. So yep, I'm okay with that. The Union of Divergence will be our name. I was going to make a fully custom name, but yeah, the auto name just kind of worked way too well. I'm okay with that. Ship appearance, obviously we're going to go with the plant ships. They can be blue. 9 petals of blue. Well, okay, obviously that's going to work then. We're leaving it like that. Still haven't figured out their names. The last thing I need to do. I can't think of anything. Okay, this makes me think a lot of Venom or something, but honestly, how that looks, and the more I look at it, it looks less tree-like and more just a mutation of something. So, why not just mutation? Divergence, mutation. It's all about change, so sure. Mutation. That is the name of the species. And then, of course, Brute Groot. Okay, so with that, I think we're all done. I'm okay with the ruler just being called Prime Minister. That's fine by me. Let's stick with blue. Gotta evolve fast. Oh, that hurt to say. Okay, so let's go with a medium galaxy size this time. Since we're mostly focusing on the story and everything, it doesn't really matter with a lot of the things. Crisis strength, still going to be maxed though. Endgame, yep, that's fine, so both of these are still 50 years earlier. That's all fine as well, all fine and dandy. Difficulties are max, lovely. Scaling difficulty makes it easier, so no thank you. Aggressiveness on high. Okay, and of course we're not going to go into Iron Man mode just because the game is liable to bug out sometimes, like in the last Let's Play, so I'm very glad I didn't have it on then, if I can use my words correctly. Okay, I'm tempted though to up the amount of primitive civilization, since we're all about improving species and everything and uplifting. You know what, not by much, but let's say ×2, just for fun. Since that does benefit everyone. Okay, let's go. Here we are on the left side of the galaxy. Let's get this thing started then. Send in Rhizome of Indigo. Of course. Now, how do we check out the relics then? That's something we need to find out straight away. Here are the relics. So we have minor relics, which can give us bonuses, like giving us energy or unity and stuff like that. Then eventually we'll have some greater relics, which will have a passive effect, I believe, and then an active effect when we select them. So that's pretty cool as well. For now, of course, we don't have anything, so that's something we'll get into in a little while. The worlds have changed. Now we can manually choose what type of world each one of our worlds is. For instance, a rural world giving us more minerals and such, or a tech world, so it doesn't rely completely on what buildings we have. Automation on and automation off. The colony is being manually developed. Oh, that's really nice. So if you're playing a very wide game, then you can have some of the worlds just automated. That is actually lovely. And probably a lot better than the old sector system. The old sector system was weird, to say the least. So how do you change the planets? Of course, we can't really do it to this one since this is the capital, but later on we'll have to check how that's done. Okay, let's build a monument. Get some unity rolling nice and quickly. That'll be fantastic. And let's continue on. We represent harmony with all choices. Not the usual first choice, honestly, but again, I think it fits the Empire better. Found our first 2 planets, which is lovely. An 18 over here, and a 14 over there. That's fine. We have found our first minor artifact. So this is simply the Cybrex, one of the precursors. I was hoping to get the new precursor, but sadly not. Okay, well, that's 1 point, which is awesome.
Updated.
So if we go over now to, not to Edicts, to Unity, then to Relics, we could sell to Private Collector for a little sum of energy. But I feel like that's a waste. And celebrating diversity is kind of the whole point of this species, so let's continue with that. That actually brings about one of the new changes as well, the precursors. In the past, depending on where you start in the galaxy, you get different precursors. I actually thought it was random for the longest time, but no, it does depend on where you start. Now, on the other hand, it is actually random. And this is the one I wanted the least. Although, ring worlds have been changed, I believe, so once we get the ring world from this, that'll be fairly interesting. Going to put down the civilian industries first, because what I want to do is be lovely to people. You, utopian abundance. You, utopian abundance. We could try and go with a run which abuses utopian abundance by having lots of unemployed populations and essentially just not caring about consumer goods. But I feel like, once again, I'd rather just do a normal run this time. That is definitely, though, a very powerful strategy you can certainly do. I love this new portrait, on a side note. It's so creepy. Like 90% of my pets. Petals of Gold is now also adaptable, increasing his experience gain, which is lovely. That is actually really nice to have on the first governor so early on.
Construction complete.
Okay, can we afford that yet? Nope, not quite. We'll be able to in a second, though. Let's get that first colony done. Ooh, why can't I send the Groots? Species, let's have a look-see. No, I want... Oh, it's not allowed. This species has insufficient mental capacity to colonize new planets of their own. Okay, well, can they at least migrate? Good. I was actually unaware that was a thing, so that makes sense, though. Okay, sending in the new Legion. Let's grab that research as well, and let's make sure we don't suddenly have negative modifiers straight away. That would be lovely. We have discovered a new archaeological site. Okay, so how does this work, then? Ooh. That's a lot of stuff. Asteroid blast door. A collision with a smaller asteroid has revealed a small blast door or airlock extending slightly from the surface of the planet. It appears to be thousands of years old and has previously been concealed by rocks and dust. Well, I say planet, asteroid. For unknown reasons, scans cannot penetrate the asteroid's interior, and the blast door is impervious to conventional cutting tools. To learn what is behind this door, a team would likely have to dig their way towards the center of the asteroid from another direction. Difficulty 2. Each chapter in an archaeological site can have a different difficulty value. Difficulty will reduce the likelihood of getting successful results at the end of a phase. That's annoying. Skill bonus. Okay, and then clues. Assign a scientist to begin excavating. Cannot excavate archaeological sites outside of your empire. Okay, so once you're done with that, rush towards that as soon as possible, please. Awesome. That is really cool. I always love a little bit of extra lore. Can we please get factions already? I need the influence. Starting to really regret using Map the Stars. I'm assuming Map the Stars doesn't include the chance of finding these sites. Maybe it does, and maybe it was worth it, but yeah, really wish I didn't spend that now. Especially since we only have 2 science ships. We'll have more once we get a bit more energy, which should be very, very soon. Also, I realise now, we've made these two so opposite, it would actually make more sense that there was a parent species which was neither of these, and perhaps both of these are the younger form. It diverged 2 ways, which would make more sense anyway, honestly. But I love the idea of these being around before, though, and that just being kind of an offshoot of them, but the originals are still around.
Colony.
I don't know. I'll think about it as time goes by. Finally. No rare features, sadly, on either of the planets.
Long.
So, I've never seen this anomaly before. I don't know if it's new or an old one, but essentially we just found a downed ship, and from their logs, they had an artifact stolen from them. And they were rather displeased about that. Sure. I would like to know what that is. Maybe I have seen that before, but either way, it's not something I'm aware of. So, later on, we'll find out what that artifact is. We do like our artifacts, after all. The fact that this says artifact so many times is hinting this is a new one, but again, I don't pay enough attention to the low-end anomalies, so this could just be a weirdly worded old anomaly. We'll find out soon enough. Suddenly wishing I wasn't on a ring world, because actually getting there is quite difficult. And by world, I meant to say galaxy. Maybe down here, then across? So instead, once you're done there, go this way, just go straight there. And let's get a new science ship. ASAP. There we are, we now have control of the system, so let's see how this is done. So we need to assign a scientist. In that case, we'll quickly grab a new one. But first, let's increase our population growth. Thank you very much. Ooh, send artifacts to museum exhibits. Cultural workers give plus 20% output. That's pretty awesome. Okay, well, back to what I was about to do anyway. Let's hire a new scientist, shall we? So, leaders, scientists, recruits, does it really matter which? Let's go with an enduring one, shall we? So if we click this again, we should have the new scientist, right? Why not? Why are we not allowed to use the new leader? Perhaps we just need to wait around a second so the game can register we actually have the new leader. Ah, maybe I was being a little bit silly. I think perhaps... Yep, the actual science ship needs to be there. I thought for a second it simply needed a scientist to be at the site, but no, it also needs the ship. That makes sense. I'm okay with that. Go forth. But now we have an extra scientist, we may as well get a new science ship. Event pending. Something has happened on one of these sites we are currently excavating. Okay then. They have reached a highly unstable section of the ruins. Supports will have to be carefully added to the floors and ceilings before we can proceed. It will be a difficult task, but finding an alternative route would delay the project. Sure. Oh, look at that. Adds -2 clues. Adds 3 clues. I assume that's how fast the site occurs. Okay, in that case, safety first. Stabilize those ruins. You may have 100 energy. -10%. This reflects the chance of your scientists making a breakthrough during the excavation. Every time a phase ends, a dice 1 to 10 is rolled. The results will be added. Okay. Okay, so it's all about adding clues. That's interesting. So right now, though, this is still only Chapter 1. So really, we should have sent in a stronger scientist as well. That's good to know for the future. Always send in the better scientists. Lovely, we found another site. Wonderful. So let's have a look at this one. This is a difficulty of 3, so we definitely want a higher level scientist here. The entire surface of this small asteroid is covered in robot debris, trapped in the weak gravity field. All of it appears to be military in nature, and there are enough combat droids here to outfit several armies, had they not been shattered beyond all repair. Ignore the last bit, that's fantastic. Either way though, so we want to grab this here and use one of our better scientists next time. That's fine. I wonder if you can swap out scientists mid-excavation. It would be nice, especially after rereading how this works. So essentially, it's the skill and the random roll versus the difficulty. So far, I've had 1 good result, and then 2 medium, 1 failure. Continue onwards, I believe in you all. Now we have a new leader. Welcome to the leadership role, Petals of Gold. And what do you want us to do? Your mandate is food growth. Okay, that should be pretty easy. In fact, we've already got it right now, so as long as we just keep it there, then we'll get some lovely, lovely unity, although we have lost our governor.
Log updated.
So what do we want? Righteous would be good, but right now we are kind of struggling with energy, so I might just go with eager. Eager is a really bad trait in comparison to a lot of the others, but at least now the upkeep system makes it a little bit better than it used to be. But saying that, resilient. You will live a very long time. Okay, sure, let's just buy that. There we are. Welcome to the leadership role.
Colony established.
There's our first colony. So, how do we change what type of world this is? If you even can. That's what I read briefly, so I might be wrong about that. We'll definitely have to check that later on. Oh, there we go. Excellent. So, urban world, mining world, loads of stuff. So, colony has been changed now. Its population growth speed is increased, and wow. Can you keep it as a colony forever? Because that's really nice, honestly. Just plus 20% population growth. That is really, really cool, and definitely something I will be looking into later. Well, I definitely love this change. This is a change I'm so happy with. What does an urban world do? City districts are built faster and cost less. I wonder if you can only change it once every set amount of time. So it's colony now. Okay, it's now an urban world. Now it's colony. No, you can just keep on swapping them. That's really good. But doesn't that mean you can just go that, build the city districts, then swap back later? Maybe the cost is more the upkeep as well. I don't know. That's something I need to look into. For now,
Technology
colony.
discovered.
At least new colonies no longer have the negative modifier of a really slow growth. Oh, no, they still have that modifier. But, of course, colony then helps to fight it. Okay, a lot of waffling. I'm still learning, so we all get to learn together. So now, because we have 13 clues, it'll be a 100% chance for the breakthrough to occur, so we are about to go to the next level. Okay. So you just keep on getting clues until you break through to the next level. Ta-da! We are now on Chapter 2, which sadly means right now we have a minus 30% chance of actually getting the breakthrough. And this is because with our difficulty at 2, our skill now at 2, that adds up to 0, and then we have no clues at all, still staying at 0. If we do the random roll of 1 to 10, there's no chance we can get 14, which is required to move forwards. So we're going to get the 1 clue over and over again, perhaps a fail or 2, and eventually that'll stack up enough that we can move on. Since I didn't actually read this second ago, a very large structure of some kind occupies most of the interior of the asteroid. The blast door, which once served as the structure's only entrance, still can't be opened, but a passage has been dug from the other side of the asteroid. Drills have so far been unable to penetrate the thick outer walls of the structure, but this method still seems to afford the best chance of gaining access. Despite their age, the blast doors have proven nearly invulnerable. And we've just found an alien over here, which will be our first alien Empire contact, and we now have our first Ascension perk, as we have finished off Harmony. Now, this time around, I'm almost certain I'm going to be going into Voidborn, Master Builders, and Galactic Wonders, since now Ringworlds are better, and the habitats are better, there's been some changes there. I really want to test that out. Also, when you get the Unity perks, the ambitions, you can now have one which allows you to build 2 megastructures at once, which is really, really lovely. And I think the Dyson Sphere has been buffed as well. Basically, megastructures might be a bit better now. For now, though, I think I'm going to go with one vision. Oh, that looks like it's been changed. Rare technologies now appear at 1.5 times the normal rate. This effect would change a 1% chance into a 1.5. Okay. So still, say, 50% increase then, right? Still love one vision, though. Yeah, for now, one vision. We are a unified force. Our empire has one very simple and very noble goal, which affects every single decision we make, and that is we want every citizen to have the very best quality of life possible. Currently, that's being achieved by giving out utopian abundance, allowing every single citizen to live lives of relative luxury. And in the future, it's going to be down the route of evolutionary mastery, allowing us to give them traits which will allow them to live longer, more intelligent, and overall happier lives. But how can we take this to even more extremes? Well, first of all, I can actually remember to do this. Food policy, nutritional plentitude, so more food for everyone and more happiness for everyone. But also, we can combine that Ascension perk with something else. Now, this is an Ascension perk I've used before, but I've never combined Evolutionary Mastery with Xenocompatibility. Xenocompatibility is really powerful already. It increases the immigration pool and growth rate of your empire and then creates half-species which have a mix of traits from both of their parents. This can really result in some ridiculously powerful species, which are Cyborg and Psyker, for instance, if you get the very best case scenarios. But then it goes on to do something interesting, which I've never really taken advantage of. The half-species have +1 maximum trait points and +1 maximum traits. Now, normally this isn't that important, but if you combine it with Evolutionary Mastery, it means these species can have an additional trait, and there's already an additional point to spend on that trait. Which is insane. You can have loads of positives, or even add an extra negative to get a more powerful positive, and once you combine all those and then apply it to a half-species, it will apply to all half-species of the same main type. For instance, if you have half-brute Groot species, all of the half-brute Groots will be converted into the new half-brute Groot. God, that's so weird to say. Essentially, it's really powerful, really heavy on the micromanagement, but it can create species which have very long lives and loads of positives, giving them the very best quality of life possible. This is the ultimate way to have the happiest and most powerful populations, probably outside turning them all into synths. I still think that synthetic evolution is probably more powerful than combining both of these, but this is going to be really, really interesting. We are going to be very powerful, hopefully, by the very, very late game. But for now, keep digging. So with our first attempt, what happened is we rolled a 10. And that was added to our +0, and that gave us 1 clue. Hopefully next time we get 2 clues, so then we can start getting this a little bit faster. Our first 3 factions have been created. We have the National Growth Party, which is our pacifists who want us to have more energy in the bank. We have the Xeno Freedom Foundation, which simply wants us to be very, very xenophilic, so very nice to all other empires. And then we have the Individual Choice Council, which is going to be our egalitarians, which are always the easiest to please. Yeah, by default we get loads of just neutrals, but these are always happy. At least, if you're playing egalitarians. But I'm also playing these two, and yet 50%, 55%. That lovely influence, despite the fact it's only second in terms of support. So our neighbours aren't going to be against us that much, but they won't like us all that much either. They are authoritarian, we are egalitarian. Our citizens greet you in peace. Okay, so before border friction happens, yeah, we have the +10 from Xenophile, so we're going to average out at 0. So what we need to do is make them like us before then, so... You know what? Sure. Excellent. There we go. And with that, we'll start gaining some trust. And with that, our friendship will blossom. Okay, good. So our very first empire is a good one. And now we need more alloys because I just spent them all. With, let's face it, bribery. Ooh, lots of +1 clues. That's
Survey
annoying.
complete.
Oh no, we found another one over there. Okay, so change target. Nope, you're going over there instead. We want that, please. We want that. That looks really cool. Gimme. A large derelict space station is trapped in a slow terminal orbit inside the atmosphere of this gas giant. The gravitational stresses will likely destroy it completely within the next 1,000 years. It has not yet drifted deep enough into the atmosphere to make archaeological expeditions to the station impossible. So yeah, grab that as soon as you can, please. I want to do as many of those as possible since that's the main new thing about this DLC. So yeah, would love to see that, please. Now that the clues have racked up, we've had our first green here, so now we have a 30% chance of just finishing this section. Can we even fail this now? Nope, we can't fail. We're always going to either succeed or get clues at least. Lovely. I actually love this system. Kind of got a bit confused by it the first time, but yeah, really like it.
Survey complete.
Please don't be building here. Yes, lovely. No construction vessel, we're there first. Fantastic. Ah, and they're protective.
Complete.
Oh, and we've just got our next event. We have finally drilled through the outer walls of the structure, and inside the interior is a vast command center or bunker of some sort, littered with the decayed remains of thousands of dead aliens. Sifting through all of this to gain a clearer picture of what exactly was going on inside the asteroid will take considerable time. And we've got a lovely minor artifact. Ooh, this is going to take a little bit longer. Minus 40% to begin with this time. Okay. This is because now the difficulty is spiked to 3. As long as we can definitely... Yeah, we can still pass at 40% chance of getting 1 clue, 60% chance of outright failing. Already sending a scientist over so we can start this excavation as well. Oh, first attempt, horrible fail. We rolled a 2. Next attempt, okay, success, we have 1 clue. Due to friendship with our neighbours, we now have a migration treaty, which means we can go ahead and colonise this world over here. Now, habitability has been changed, and it's a lot more painful than it used to be. Before, it was simply more upkeep and more amenities usage. Now, it's also slower growth rate and less resources. So, even 60% is really borderline there. I'm still going to go with this, but yeah, very borderline. But it means if we find some tundra worlds, we can at least now inhabit them. Since I think it's a tundra world which you're from? Yep. You're from a tundra moon. Both of our sites are now being excavated. And... Nope, just yellow. That's fine. I'd like some more energy at the moment, please.
Construction complete. Construction complete.
This asteroid is much more than we originally thought it was. This asteroid once served as the hidden capital of a relatively large interstellar empire that dominated this section of the galaxy several thousand years ago. From this fortified command center, the ruling elite, along with thousands of military and civilian officials, controlled the empire while safe from the violent reprisals their harsh policies often inspired. Contact with the rest of their empire seems to have been handled exclusively through encrypted subspace transmissions and a single freighter, which made periodic visits to resupply the base and transfer personnel. Okay, so we continue. Now we are level 3. It's a 0 bonus here, so minus 30% to begin with. Where did I even see that 3%? Anyway, continue. I really want this one finished before the end of the video. This video is going to be a long one. Send in our new species, which are charismatic, natural engineers, and deviants. To be fair, so are our main species, but you get the whole point. Go! Once upon a time, the gas giant structure was a pleasure palace, having slot machines, hundreds of bars and restaurants, and now thousands of bodies. Dead, partially mummified aliens of at least a dozen different species can be found here. Okay then. Although, most of the bodies are clustered around the empty escape pod bays. So clearly something went horribly wrong here, and loads of minor artifacts. So this is very different from the asteroid then. Also, we have loads of minor artifacts now. Shall we use some? I mean, I'm just kind of sitting on them, so... Celebrate diversity, giving us 175 unity. Okay, so whilst it's active, I can't use it again, but that is a lot of unity. I might just keep it there and keep on spending on that. I'm assuming the rest of these bonuses we can only have... Oh no, it requires different techs. Okay, well, one tech. That's interesting. So maybe I should really save up then and spend them on that. But first I want to do this anyway. More culture worker output. Which will increase our unity. Here we are, culture workers give us society and unity. Roll 1. Roll 1. Roll 1. What's the odds of that? 3 1s in a row. When it's out of 10. Well done, guys. Okay. Roll 1, roll 1, roll 1, roll 1. That's not just the result, that's the actual roll itself.
Construction complete.
5, 1, 7. But then the other one, nope. 1, 1, 1, 1. Am I going to get another one? Just break all odds? No, apparently I'm just going to outright succeed somehow. Your archaeologists have stumbled upon an ill-fated previous expedition, that perished long ago. Several minor artifacts were recovered from their desiccated remains. Was that just like a little bonus or something? Yeah, it's the same one still. That's interesting. So sometimes you don't go to the next chapter, you just get a bonus from this? Oh, it's okay. Roll 2. Because of course it was a roll 2. That is so stupid. One of the Cyberx artifacts have been recovered, which does indeed give us a minor artifact as well. Also, I've been looking at some of these world changes, and yeah, it looks like a lot of them have been very much changed. Tech World no longer gives you bonus research, it simply makes the researchers cheaper, and the lab build speed faster. Yet, seems like a lot of them have been changed to upkeep instead. That's interesting. The gas giant structure was the Star Petal, which was moved around every year to new exotic locations and was a celebrated luxury resort. For unclear reasons, the station was pulled into the gas giant's atmosphere, where it suffered critical damage. Curious. So, was that malicious, or... well, I guess we're going to find out. And you can get yourself over there. Finally some greens, okay. Moving on with the asteroid. We have finished the first excavation, the final days. From what can be pieced together, it appears that the resupply freighter collided with the asteroid due to a thruster malfunction. The resulting explosion damaged the blast doors and destroyed the asteroid's subspace transmitter, permanently severing all contact with the outside world. So all of their effort from hiding this command center from the rest of their empire is ultimately what destroyed them all. Trapped, and with no hope of rescue, the asteroid's inhabitants slowly succumbed to starvation, and the last logs of their single surviving subspace receiver confirms that their empire, suddenly, without its capital, descended into civil war and anarchy. And so ended their empire. 100 minor artifacts! And that's that. Oh, that's good. So it's still there, though, so if I want to click it, I can see where it once was. That's cool. Oh, I see. Yeah, so there are events which can happen with each. That's why I got some points before. That's a lot of minor artifacts, though. Do these become more expensive or something? Or perhaps we need them to activate the relics? I don't really know. I mean, if nothing else, wait a second, they're 500 energy each. Can I just spam that? Let me just find out. Oh my god. Does that seem a bit overpowered to anyone? I've got 108 artifacts 500 energy each. So that's 50,000. Okay, to be fair, it's not that much later on in the game, but right now, that's insane. 50,000 energy this early on. That I can just build whatever I want with that. Okay, well, that's interesting. But yeah, later game, that's going to be very little. But right now, that is insane. Okay, you can grab that and that. Then that, please. Lovely. So with that, I'm afraid I am all out of time for today's episode. This has been a really interesting first episode. I love the idea of his empire. If you want to add anything to his empire, perhaps change the name of the factions, or add some extra lore elements, then please tell me in the comments. And with that, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed today's video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Stellaris is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. Really looking forward to this run.